World War II, a global conflict, millions perished, but within this darkness a deeper horror unfolded: the Holocaust. The systematic extermination of Jews, 6 million souls extinguished. Yet this is not the whole story. The Holocaust's darkness stretched further. It consumed millions more. Roma, disabled people, Soviet prisoners of war, all deemed unworthy of life. We must confront this evil, uncover the hidden horrors, examine the origins, understand the machinery of death, remember the victims, learn from their stories. This is not just history, it is a stark warning. The world must never forget, never again. These words echo through time, a solemn vow, a promise carved from the ashes. Yet memory fades, denial grows. It is our duty to fight against this tide, to keep the embers of truth burning bright, for in remembering we honor the victims. In understanding we prevent history from repeating itself. In speaking out we stand guard against the darkness. The Holocaust did not begin in the gas chambers. It began with words, with hateful ideologies, with the systematic dehumanization of entire groups of people. The Nazis, fueled by twisted racial theories, labeled Jews as parasites, a threat to the purity of the German race. Propaganda spread like wildfire. Newspapers, radio broadcasts, films, all drumming up hatred, blaming Jews for Germany's problems, stripping them of their humanity. Laws were enacted. The Nuremberg laws of 1935, stripping Jews of their citizenship, their rights, their dignity. Kristallnacht, the night of broken glass, exploded in 1938. Synagogues burned, businesses destroyed, Jewish homes ransacked, thousands rounded up, imprisoned in concentration camps. These events were not random acts of violence, they were carefully orchestrated steps, part of a larger, more sinister plan. A plan that would culminate in the horrors of the Holocaust. Across occupied Europe, a network of death camps emerged. Auschwitz-Birkenau, Treblinka, Sobibor, names that send shivers down the spine, places of unimaginable cruelty. Trains arrived daily, packed with human cargo, men, women, children ripped from their homes, herded like cattle. Upon arrival, the selection process began. A flick of the wrist could mean life or death. Those deemed unfit for work were sent directly to the gas chambers, disguised as showers, the air thick with the stench of fear and uncertainty. Then, the hissing gas, Zyklon B. Death within minutes. The Nazis were meticulous in their cruelty. They extracted every last bit of value from their victims. Hair shaved for industrial use, gold teeth plundered. Even the ashes of the dead were used as fertilizer. The killing was relentless, a macabre assembly line of death, fueled by hate, driven by an ideology that saw its victims as less than human. Even in the face of unimaginable horror, the human spirit refused to be extinguished. Acts of resistance, both big and small, flickered throughout the Holocaust. In the ghettos, underground resistance movements formed, smuggling food, medicine, and information, publishing underground newspapers, keeping hope alive. In the death camps where survival seemed impossible, prisoners found ways to resist. The Sobibor uprising in 1943. Prisoners, armed with stolen weapons, fought back against their oppressors. Many died, but some escaped. A testament to the indomitable will to live. The Warsaw Ghetto Uprising, a symbol of defiance. Outnumbered and outgunned, Jewish fighters held off the Nazi war machine for weeks, fighting for their lives, fighting for their dignity, fighting for the memory of those already lost. These acts of resistance may not have altered the course of the Holocaust, but they serve as a powerful reminder, a reminder that even in the darkest of times the human spirit can endure, that hope can bloom even in the face of despair. Section 5: Beyond the Walls, the untold sufferings of forgotten victims. While the horrors inflicted upon the Jewish people are well documented, it's important to remember that they were not the only victims of Nazi persecution. Millions of others were targeted, murdered, erased, their stories often overshadowed. The Roma people, nomadic people, their culture rich in music and storytelling, they were labeled as criminals, as degenerates, hunted down and murdered, their suffering often overlooked. disabled individuals, deemed unworthy of life, subjected to forced sterilization, murdered in the name of racial purity, their lives deemed not worth living, Soviet prisoners of war, starved, tortured, worked to death, treated with unimaginable brutality, millions perished, their sacrifice often forgotten. We must remember all victims of the Holocaust, give voice to the voiceless, honor their memory by acknowledging their suffering. Only then can we truly understand the depths of the Nazis' depravity. Section 6. Liberation, a glimmer of hope in the abyss. As the Allied forces advanced across Europe, they began to uncover the true horror of the Nazi regime. The liberation of the camps revealed the full extent of the atrocities committed. Bergen-Belsen, Dachau, Buchenwald, names that became synonymous with horror. The scenes that greeted the liberators were unimaginable. Emaciated bodies, mass graves, the stench of death. The survivors, shadows of their former selves, haunted by what they had witnessed. General Dwight D. Eisenhower, upon witnessing the horrors of Ohrdruf concentration camp, ordered every available American soldier to visit the camp. "Get it on the record," he insisted. "Film it. Take pictures. Let the world know. Because we are going to be accused of making these things up." The world watched in horror as the evidence of the Nazis' crimes was revealed. The images, the testimonies, the sheer scale of the genocide shocked the world's conscience. Section 7. The Echoes of Trauma, bearing witness to unthinkable horrors. The physical scars of the Holocaust may have faded, but the psychological wounds run deep. Survivors bear the invisible marks of trauma, haunted by memories they can never erase. Many suffered from survivors' guilt, tormented by the question of why they survived when so many others perished. The loss of loved ones, the destruction of their homes and communities, the theft of their innocence. Their stories are essential. They provide a human face to the staggering statistics. They remind us that the Holocaust was not just a historical event, it was a deeply personal tragedy that continues to affect the lives of millions. We have a responsibility to listen to their stories, to bear witness to their suffering, to ensure that their voices are not silenced, for in their stories lies the power to prevent history from repeating itself. Section 8. Denial, the struggle against forgetting. Even as the survivors bear witness to the horrors they endured, a dangerous trend is emerging. Holocaust denial, the attempt to rewrite history, to downplay the significance of the genocide, to cast doubt on the evidence, fueled by anti-Semitism, conspiracy theories, and a desire to sanitize the past. Holocaust denial is a dangerous form of hate speech. It seeks to undermine the memory of the victims, to give comfort to extremists, to pave the way for future atrocities. We must be vigilant in combating Holocaust denial, educating future generations about the dangers of prejudice and discrimination, promoting tolerance and understanding, challenging hate speech wherever it arises. The Holocaust stands as a stark warning, a reminder of what can happen when hatred is allowed to fester, when indifference prevails, when we fail to learn from the mistakes of the past. Section 9. Conclusion. Keeping the memory alive. The Holocaust was a watershed moment in human history, a testament to the depths of human cruelty, but also a reminder of the resilience of the human spirit, the courage of those who resisted, the compassion of those who offered aid. It is our duty to remember, to honor the victims, to learn from the past, to ensure that such atrocities are never repeated. We must never forget the lessons of the Holocaust. We must never allow ourselves to become complacent. For the sake of the victims, for the sake of humanity, we must never forget. The memory of the Holocaust is a powerful weapon against hatred and intolerance. It is a call to action, a reminder that we all have a role to play in creating a more just and compassionate world. Let us honor the victims by building a future where such horrors are consigned to the history books, where the words "never again" are not just a slogan, but a promise kept.